morning, everybody. How are we doing today? Well, I know I can't say anything, but I know you're all hopefully doing well. So, this is a special episode. We are taping it live in front of a studio audience, so to speak. Don't worry, studio audience, the camera cannot see you or hear you right now, but we are taping that. Anyways, you might be wondering why I'm wearing sunglasses. Well, suffice to say, last week, going into this week, my family decided to get pink eye. Yes, every photographer, videographer's dream, pink eye. So I have a little bit of light sensitivity going on. And as you can see today in the studio, I am kind of, so to speak, naked. No lights, no color grading. It's just me and the camera. So, what are we going to be talking about today? Well, 5 ways to up your virtual meeting presence. I don't think the online meeting is going to be going away necessarily anytime soon. So I thought, let's talk about ways that you can improve what all this looks like when you don't have a studio set up per se, and kind of get the best presence online in front of the camera. And just to be clear, a full disclosure, none of the products that I mention or show in this, I'm not sponsored by it. They're all paid for out of my own pocket. Nobody's telling me what to do. Sony, Aperture, any of those companies, they don't get to tell me what to say. So I'm gonna get right into it. Your camera probably sucks. The cameras in your laptops, generally speaking, or on top of your desktops, they're 720p cameras. They're not that great. I mean, they'll do the job when you're out and about in a pinch, but they're not going to give you the best visual. Also, because the camera is placed right at the top of the screen, you have that odd thing of you want to look the person in the face that you're talking to, but you're looking to the top of the screen, or you're looking down at your notes. It becomes this odd thing. One thing you can do though is you can upgrade your camera to something like this here, which at least is a 4K camera. Now, it doesn't have all the nice soft depth of field and bokeh, but it definitely will help your meetings and just looking more professional. Going back to something like my camera that I'm using right now, so I'm on a A7R4, which is probably a little overkill for this. And one of the things you can do is, if you really want to up your game and you don't want to go into a 4K computer camera, Sony cameras in particular I like because they can be hooked up by USB directly to your computer, and you can start using the camera much like this with interchangeable lenses, so you can get a very nice look to your whole screen. This is Sony's latest camera that just came out, and it is specifically made for vloggers or the person at home that wants to do stuff. It's really simple, like they're making it like, look, you can just push a button for slow motion. Just push the button to get this depth of field. This is for somebody who doesn't know aperture settings or shutter settings. It's kind of your great go-to camera for just kind of at-home use. So you're looking about $1,000 out of pocket, $999. But I thought it was a very cool camera. A camera like this can really up your game because it gives you that interchangeable lens. It allows you to get that depth of field going, which allows some separation. Now, Google Meetings, Zoom, they all have the effect of, and they're getting better and better at separating the subject from the background, but they're still quite fake because, unlike a photo, there's movement, you don't have the right lighting. If you're not contrasted enough, it just doesn't work quite well. Tip number 2, your microphone probably sucks too. That microphone in your laptop is usually in some of the oddest locations, and depending on your laptop, whether it's a PC or a Mac, it's not in an optimal location that's just going to gather your voice. Don't get me wrong, in a pinch, again, they do quite well, but The problem is they're still going to give you sort of distorted audio. The audio bounces off the back of the screen. It gives you a weird hollow sound to it, but a microphone will help. So anything, now you don't have to go with this overkill, but again, a USB microphone, they have things like Blue Yetis. These are just basically condenser mics. You don't have to have them on an arm like this. You can stick them in front of a table in front of you. That can really help. Now I know some people like to use the headphones with the mic. Those can work well. And actually one of the great mics is if you have wireless headphones like Apple AirPods. Those can actually really help your sound audio gain, because you're picking up your voice more directly from this area rather than from everything out here. So that's number 2. Number 3, your lighting is going to make all the difference here. So like I said, I feel naked right now because my lighting is, for me, it's gone all wrong. So I'm going to take you through, at least from a photographer, videographer setup, what lighting you can do. Let's start off with just what everybody has. If you have like a nearby window or something like that, natural light is best because it's usually soft and diffused coming through a window. Don't get too close to the window because then you'll start getting harsh shadows, but it usually helps if you have that kind of coming through. That'll really give you some ambience and some depth to your features. So a practical light is when you're doing a set design, if you ever see like a kid's bedroom or something and they put all the little lamps on, or even, well, the sign in the background for Wolfe Street, that's a practical light. Turning down these lights here helps give me some contrast to myself. So that's the other thing. Now, I'm not saying go out and buy $1,000 in lighting. Natural windows, if you have a lamp that you can put in front of you, that will help. I do have lighting that helps me. Now, these are RGB lights. They help add some color. This is my key light up here. You can't probably see, or you just can probably see just like the edge of it. But that adds some shadow and gives you that sort of Rembrandt look where you get the little, the painterly look on your face. So having some sort of light source, and the bigger this light source, and when I mean bigger, the bigger this light source, the softer and the more pleasing it is. So if you ever wonder why they use big, giant soft boxes like this, it's because it emulates the sun and it makes you look better on camera. Another option, if you need something in a pinch that's not too crazy costly, a ring light. So one of these guys, you can get those on Amazon, in photography stores, and they come in at all levels. You don't have to spend $300 on a ring light. You can spend probably $60 on a ring light. That light's a little fancier just because you can change colors, because I like to shoot myself in pink and purples and all kinds of stuff like that. But anyways, you can change it. So now, probably for the audience at home watching this thing, they're probably going to wonder, why is he not looking at the camera? Again, sorry folks, I am looking at my audience over here, I'm looking at a camera over here, and I'm looking at a camera over here. We'll come to that tip later. One thing is clutter, and let me say this. Clutter is going to affect your presentation in a number of ways. Now, some might look at my room and go, boy, that's clutter, there's a lot of junk on the walls and stuff. But this adds a little bit more visual interest, at least for what I'm doing. Some clutter, if you're doing that kind of thing, will interfere with what you're doing. It's gonna add too many colors, it's gonna add too many things that make you lose contrast. That'll help you out in the long run, especially if you end up using something like a fake background. So declutter, dress your set, so to speak, so that it gives the audience maybe a little sense of character of you, but nothing too crazy that it's going to distract from you in the first place. my final tip. Make it so you can fake it. And what I mean by that is, yes, using backgrounds can be a great tool when you're in an environment that you just can't declutter or get the right lighting or stuff. But I will say backgrounds don't work very well. They're getting better in the software, but they just don't work that great. So there are a couple of solutions that I will offer to you. So you can get one of these, again, on Amazon. This will help you quite a bit. It is a portable green screen. And this little guy unfolds quite a bit. It's about $50 off of Amazon. But the thing about this is if you're using one of these or using any sort of background screen, place it further back from you. And not only a green screen, but also if you're using the whole sort of fake background thing, being right against the wall isn't gonna help you because your camera will pick up better contrast if you're actually further away, but your background is well lit. So make sure this is well lit with some lighting. Make sure your wall is well lit with some lighting, and that will help your background actually work better with whatever camera you're using. And coming back to cameras, speaking of that, you know, whether you're using something like a Sony camera or you're going to use something like just a higher grade web camera that's 4K, that increased resolution will also help you get a better cutout with less sort of ghosting or coming out of the walls kind of effect going on for you. So there you have it. Those are my 5 tips to kind of increasing your online meeting presence, your online game, the online look. Sorry I couldn't stare everybody in the eyes and be even more engaging, but pink eye. Question.
Don't forget to subscribe down below. Hit that subscribe button.
That's right. That's right. Shh. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Hit the little bell icon for notifications when we upload a new video. Everybody's got a good laugh out right now. Forgot that one, but yes, please do so. Until next time.